Cheers, people. Cheers. All right. Oh, wait. See? I don't even know if I'm live. There we go. I think I'm live. Be live. All right. Well, I think everybody understands what this show's about. I mean, it was brought to my attention by someone on Facebook, and they says, "Hey, I think this guy did it." Yeah, right. See? So I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. And so is everybody on Reddit too. But, people want my word on it. People want to hear my word. So that's why I'm here. That is, I guess, why I'm here. So I can tell you what my word is on it. And believe me, man, because I went and looked this up today. I did. I put in his name right into YouTube and saw where everybody was on there, on there, just John Kelly profiler. Okay. I mean, for one, he got his fingers in there. And everybody is talking about this. Like everybody. Well, when it was brought to my attention with the name, I went and looked it up. And I went and looked the guy up, and I seen his mugshot, and I'm like, and I don't get it. Everybody's like, but he looks like the sketch. How? How does he look like the sketch? Somebody explain that to me. How does he look like the sketch? I mean, did he go around wearing a hat like this? Did he? Did he have it just down like that with his beard? I'm not understanding. Yeah, it's tattoos. Never stated. Never ever stated. And when I seen the mugshot, I'm like, okay. So I went to the next step. Straight to the next step. Went and got his real name. And I went to my case, Indiana. And I looked him up. He's got felony convictions all over the place. They have his fingerprints. They know exactly who he is. They would have had him nailed for DELPHI immediately if it was him. He don't look anything like the sketch. Nothing. The only thing he did, and I say the only, and I apologize for that. Sincerely apologize. We know what he did. We know what this man did, which is... And allow me to touch upon that here in a moment, okay? The guy is a POS. I give it that. But while he kidnapped this girl and apparently tried to kill her via strangulation, I want to point something out, that the DELPHI suspect, the real suspect, is a sadistic serial killer. Period. Okay? This guy likes to go, do the crime, and get out quickly. You don't abduct, take them home for a month or something like this. I mean, I don't even know how long the girl was abducted, but it's the point. The entire crime in DELPHI, at the very maximum, was 23 minutes long. 23. It was a brutal murder. And I say that because that's exactly what every piece of law enforcement that I've heard speak of it said. A brutal murder. Now, a person can look at it's mirrored, people. The person can look at this guy's face and say he looks like this. Oh, I don't think so. I don't see anything in that sketch that looks like him at all. Period. Nothing. Now, then I go back, because Kim Riley had told me that. Well, it's like this suspect has never committed a crime. Really? I mean, are you saying that because DNA don't match? Well, I can't speak on that. And maybe he's done something, but we can find no traces of him. They would be finding traces of this guy everywhere. Period. All over the place. Now, everybody wants to get on here, make a video, I guess run up some amount of money or something like that for views. And it's like tabloid. I am fighting. That is the monster that I got to fight, is tabloidism. People hear somebody say something and ooh, that sounds good. That sounds right to me. That's how they're telling the truth. That's how people think. I don't. I do not. I don't think like that. I have not listened to one person, not one person have I listened to regarding this crime. I have never, not once, Now, when I say that, there are those special, videos that where I might be in or this or that or the other. I mean, but I don't go watch people's videos concerning the Delphi case. I don't care if it's CNN. I don't care. John Kelly, I don't care who it is. I do not rely on other people for my information. I don't. When I heard about the guy who ISA has done it for over 2 years, in fact, it was December 9th of 2018 when I called my guy out on it. And I knew at that time, and everything that has come forward since that time all goes back to him. Not because I want it to. It's because it all matches back to him. Period. This guy is a kidnapper. This is what he does. He's a POS. He's going to prison for that. I hope he has fun there. I really do. Hope he gets brutalized. I hope he gets really brutalized. But the thing is that the guy that committed the Delphi Act, it's way bigger than what this guy's going to do. And again, I go back on this. They would have found the guy. They had fingerprints and DNA. And I have covered the fingerprints since the first year press conference. When Kim Riley told me that, I says, well, there's only one other way to determine if a person has ever committed a crime, and that's fingerprints. That told me right there, they have fingerprints. And I came forward with it. People said, you're crazy. You're insane. They got fingerprints. What's wrong with you? Then Lesenby comes out. Well, we do have latent fingerprints. Oh, so you have fingerprints, do you? Gee, I wonder what connected this guy down in St. Louis back to Carroll County. Exactly. Because when his came back, it came back as the Delphi unknowns. And they said, we better call this guy. We better call Carroll County. Let him know. And that's what started it. It's exactly what started it. So, now I need to turn this up a little. Need my nicotine. And my Dr. Pepper. So, yeah, a lot of people are on the side that, oh, I think he did it. I think he did. Oh, just look at how they two look alike, huh? Look at that, would you? He didn't do it. I'll tell you that right now. In fact, I stated over 2 years ago, and I believe that because there came a time after I gave my person of interest, everybody's like, no, it ain't him. They would have got him already. And I explained why they couldn't get him. And everybody's, no, it ain't him. So why? We're still waiting. And I told you back then, like over 2 years ago now, I said there will not be a real person of interest. There is not going to be any charges filed against another person for this crime until my guy goes to court. And that's on August 2nd of this year. Now, when that completes and he's been convicted, okay, once that happens, now all of these states can go down there and talk to him concerning other murders. That's what's going to happen. And probably somewhere around September, October of 2021, this year, he will have charges filed against him. But, oh man, see, I wish I was like live editing and I have a real butt up here, man, but let's see, a real ass. But this guy up here, he didn't do it. He didn't. And if you believe he did, that's because you're listening to other people just lie to you. I say lie, but the truth is they believe it. They don't know. And that's what I was pointing out, man. All these people that make YouTube videos, people act like they know stuff. They don't. They don't. And I reiterate, they don't know crap. They don't. They're speculating. They're just throwing bullshit. They're trying to make any tie they can so that they can get on here, get people to come and view them, and make money. That's what it's about to them. Tabloid is my enemy. I am against tabloidism. I don't like tabloidism, and I don't like people making videos just to make money because they're not saying shit. They're not saying anything in reality. If I went and watched one, oh, wait, hang on. True Crime Garage. I think that's the name of it. I think it's True Crime Garage. Audio podcast. I know that. I went and watched theirs on Delphi, and it was good, and I did watch that, but I watched it because I wanted to hear what they were saying, what it was they were saying. I have never one time sat down, okay? And again, it's like I'm eating my words here, but it's like any time that I've heard anybody speak about Delphi, they never have it right. They always have miscommunication and things thrown in there that just are not true. Why? You know, why would they have this misinformation? It's because they don't know the case. They don't know the case. Now, True Crime Garage did very well on it. I mean, they did. And actually, of any and all that I've seen, they probably did the best, aside of myself. But I mean, like, you know, if I sit down, would you guys like it if I just did audio? Would that be cool? Like just an audio podcast? Because if I was doing an audio podcast, I'd be on here every night. I'd just be on here every night, just rambling and talking. And, you know, I would. But I don't want to sit down and make a video. I hate making videos. I do. It bothers the crap out of me. I got to sit there and make a video, you know, and edit it just so everybody likes it. When I'm sitting right here telling you exactly what it is, every bit of it, and people, yeah, True Crime Garage. Thank you very much, Teresa. So, anyways, hi, Mitch. Sarah, hey. Oh, thank you very much, Sarah. Hey, and don't forget my puppy. Don't forget little guy, man. You know. I'll, you know, next one, man, I'll have him up. That's what I'll do. I'll have a picture of Figgy up here, man, and I'll just be in the background talking. You know, but anyways, it's because these people don't understand the case. Now, I don't give anything, or I never have given anything to like somebody being where the crime was from. So what? You live there. You know, I mean, I guess that would have been my opinion. But the fact is, if you go to Delphi and you go to that trail and you walk it from Freedom Bridge all the way down to Monon High Bridge, cross it, walk back all the way back to Freedom Bridge, you get a good idea about the length of time and, you know, everything and how he would have walked and, you know, where he could have been seen. It all becomes very clear. If you don't live here and you've never been there, that's very lost to you. And I get that, you know, and I see a lot of people, man, that's talking about this. And I'm like, they have no idea. They have no idea what they're talking about when they say this. And a lot of people really mess up some real facts of this case. Most people, now, this is between you and me. Okay, this is between us right here. Most people don't know about what Kim Riley said. They never heard that. It was stated to me. And unless they watched my channel, or in some cases, Anthony Greeno's channel, they would never hear that. They don't know it's a fact. They do not understand that this man has never, to law enforcement's knowledge, ever committed a crime. That's lost to them. So when they hear somebody's a person of interest like this, and, oh, he looks like the sketch, well, hang on. Let's look at this sketch. And I'm going to go pull up a different, let me see. Yeah, that will have to do. No, that's blurred too, I believe. Hold on 1 second. Let me go get one. Now, keep an eye there on wait, come on. There we go. Oh, jeez. Oh, crap. Yeah. Oh, here. Look at that face. Now, you tell me, is it him or is it JBC? I'll tell you which one it's made from right now. This guy right there. It's because that sketch looks identical to him. Right down to his mustache. Same thing. Now, and I'm also going to ask this. The lady said that the guy did not have blue eyes, but I don't know what color eyes he had. Okay, now go look at JBC. If he was talking to him, and after the fact of talking to him, what color would you say his eyes were? You'd say brown, wouldn't you? Immediately. Yeah, he's got brown eyes. You can't miss that. This guy here, he's got kind of a, I don't even know how to put it, almost like a grayish brown eyes. It's not really hazel. It's kind of gray mixed with into brown. I mean, it's a very odd color. I heard nothing about tattoos around the guy's neck, but then again, I don't know when that guy got those tattoos. It's just the point. It is. If a guy has committed felonies, they know who he is. They know exactly who he is. They know. It's not going to escape the FBI, the state of Indiana. But people will be right here on YouTube and they'll be talking about it. Getting views. You know, I could have sat down today, made it really long and spent like 5 hours, man, just making a long video and really editing it and throwing it up there. And people would love that. And I get it, man. The editing looks cool. And I love like when a video is done like that. But at the same time, I mean, it's not, to me, it's not my editing ability that's on show. It's the facts. It's the evidence. It's what we know. And using what we know to determine what is and what is not real in this case. Can't be more clear than that. Hold on. Let's see. Well, I'll tell you right now, Brenda, you can say what you want, but when somebody sits there and talks to them for a while, they got a pretty good idea what they look like. And when a sketch looks exactly like this guy, guess what? That's kind of where I'm going. Now, everything else adds up in the same way. Believe as you wish, Brenda. That's fine. But remember, August 2nd's coming around. It's coming. And after it goes down and after the guy's convicted and once those charges are filed, I want everybody to come back who thought it was somebody else and apologize. They won't. They won't, but it would be cool if. Yeah, well, I'm glad he can't harm anybody, but the fact is the guy was out there to harm people. I mean, that's kind of a way of it too, Chris. I mean, you don't really know, a person. I mean, you don't. I mean, even the people that you may think you know, you don't really know. Man, all the friends of TJB, they're all like, he was a super good guy, a great friend, a great guy, man. Just, but was he? No, he was a brutal serial murderer, and that was kept secret within him. I mean, it wasn't out there on display for people. So, hang on. Let me get back to the questions here real quick. Sharon Parker. We did, yes. But she could not talk about anything concerning the case. She told us that immediately. And this goes back first year when we talked to her, first year. And she made herself known. She says, yes, I am the lady that lives on the south side over there, or had lived. She no longer lives there. But at that time, the only person of interest was Daniel Nations. So when asked if did he look like Daniel Nations? She's like, I can't even speak on the case. Now, and I say that for another reason too, is because people think that this lady and flannel shirt guy are out there answering questions. No, they were told not to talk about it. Period. Do not speak of this case because this is like FBI investigation. Indiana State Police, Carroll County, they do not want that evidence out there, period. Oh, I already hit I think. Hey, if I didn't hit if somebody would hit it for me, that'd be super. Thank you. Appreciate it. I really do. She passed away. I didn't hear that. But she don't live here. We have not talked to her to my knowledge. I don't think Greeno has either since the first year. So, and what? 619? Really? That's it? Man. Yeah, it may be. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying anyway, but I know that everybody that plays politics, you know what, all of these people that are up there like that, I mean, I'm sure people believe them to be Republican and Democrat. I don't. I do not. I know that they are in their own secret little thing there. They're not Republican and Democrat. They know that both sides, Republican and Democrat, are there to hurt you and be good for them. Period. And I don't look at it any other way. I ain't a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. In fact, I hate both sides equally. Period. I do. I know you may be a Republican and go, but then again, I mean, Republicans, Democrats, how do you think your property rights got gone? Why do you think we got like 98% of our laws, maritime and admiralty laws, don't even take a person victimized? They took away your freedom. They taxed you. I mean, everything that they both did, and people stand to one side or the other. This tabloid, don't listen to those fuckers, man. They're evil. Pat, David, you know what? It's a good question. I mean, I could name 6. But well, actually with a possible 7th. Honestly, wait, I can say 7 with a possible 8. You know, because we know Jamie Schmidt down in St. Louis is 1, but you know, I kind of overlook her because he's already on trial for that one. But then, you know, you got Mary Pryor and Ann Pates in Michigan. Those 2 are his, absolutely his. And then you got Delphi and Evansdale, which are connected. And, you know, I mean, again, over 2 years ago, actually pushing 3 years ago. I mean, this September, it will be 3 years ago that me and Greeno sat right here and covered the circumstances and similarities between Delphi and Evansdale. And of course, we had no idea as to like who, you know, or anything like that. But we did, you know, we was like, it was very much similar in every way. However, and now knowing, you know, who I believe did it. And I mean, once I found, you know, that like right there between St. Louis and his hometown in Montrose, Michigan up there, right here is the Hoosier Heartland, which connects the 2. Go to Google and look up directions from St. Louis to Montrose, Michigan. And it's going to give you I-70 to Fort Wayne and the Hoosier Heartland going right by Monon High Bridge Trail. You take the Hoosier Heartland, you pass Monon High Bridge Trail. It's right there. So I believe he used it as like a stop, you know, as a place to get out, stretch his legs, take a little hike, that sort of thing. And I think in his sick mind, I mean, he's seen this is a place where I can come back to. You know, this is a place where I can come back because when somebody walks by, there ain't somebody else going to be walking by right behind him. It's traveled, but barely traveled. So if somebody walks through that you want to abduct and take elsewhere right there and do whatever too, you got that availability. And I think that it wasn't the first time. I don't know how many times he had actually been there, but this time he did. He came back solely for the purpose of murder. There it is. So I can say that there's 7, including the one he's in there for. And the 8th, I'm going to throw out as Susan Collins down in Tennessee. Now, I think it's kind of weird, a little bit weird, that her last name is Collins, and so is Elizabeth Collins from Evansdale. But, I mean, Collins, kind of a not everyday, I mean, but sort of is. Ain't like Smith, but it is kind of a common name. Oh, well, right on. Well, glad you made it, man. Glad you're here. You're the best. You're the best, Michael. Appreciate it, dude. You know what? If you make it, Teresa, call me or reach me at my email, which is right here. Right there. You can reach me. Scroll that down. Write it down. And reach me, because if you show up, reach me ahead of time. I will meet you out there and, you know, kind of just take you through. I mean, it ain't like that, but what I mean is I can show you the particular certain areas, this and that, as you go through. That way, you know, it kind of makes it fundamentally clear as to, like, you know, right here is County Road 300. Here's the trail. This is where you come in. This is where you go out. This is where it goes down to the bridge. This is where it comes back. This is the 501. This is the 505, you know, and just kind of make it a little bit more clear, because from where the suspect parked at the abandoned CPS building to walk from that spot where he parked down to Monon High Bridge Trail is exactly 15 minutes. It's a 15-minute walk from where he parked down to the bridge. So he had the same 15 minutes back, but he had to cross the bridge, walk back across the creek, and then go back from the 501. So let me know, and, you know, we'll get out there. And that goes for anybody else too. If you want to go out there, reach me ahead of time, and we'll see if we can't meet up. 7th of May, probably nothing. You know? Yeah, absolutely. I would be happy to. It's always 420 here. It's always 420 at my house, dude. Man, how did 420 come up? How did 420 come up? I want to know. Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. Mr. Cat 420. That's got to be what it is. That's got to be how 420 got connected to my channel. Thank you, Trixie. I appreciate it. Yeah, I get it, man. Yeah. Oh, I didn't. I can't really give you my phone, Teresa, and I wish I could, but I'm ending my landline, and I'm doing that because I went to a cellular. Now I got a cell phone, but I don't want to give that phone number out. If you got to reach me by phone, email me, and I can give you my cell number, you know, like that, and then you could call. But I don't just want to hand it out to everybody. In case nobody knows, I am heavily into Bitcoin. I dumped absolutely everything I have into Bitcoin, and I could not be happier for it, because Bitcoin goes up every day, right along with, well, actually all the altcoins, man. Ethereum, all of them, man. Cardano's. So if you do not know about Bitcoin, I will ask you, please go look into Bitcoin. You'll be amazed. You'll put some of your money into it, I assure you. What? Yeah. Hang on. Let me put my email back up. That's my email. If you want it, write it down. Reach me right there. That's where I'll get back a hold of you. I check my email probably about 5 or 6 times daily. I mean, if I'm just sitting, you know, walk in the house, man, I'll just sit down and go check it. I'm usually not sitting in here for very long each day. I like to get out with my puppy. No, I don't mind for it. A friend of mine does, and he told me I should, but I thought, well, look, man, what I'd be making mining it would be very small. I said I'd rather just take my money and put it into it when it dips. And we just had a really good dip. It went down to 47,000. Right now it's at about 55,000. So whenever it goes down like that, man, watch for it to go down. And if it goes down any amount, put money in it. You know, buy it when it's red and dipping. That way you're not spending bigger money for less. You know, you get more Bitcoin that way. I don't want to sit and dwell on Bitcoin, but I will. But I will if I have to. All right. You see that? Pookie did it. Pookie knows. Pookie's down. Pookie's got it happening, man. Little Pookie. Thank you, Pook. Yeah. I am doing very good, Christy. How are you, man? I hope everything's happening where you are. So let me get back to my, wait, let me actually go back to the other green screen. Man. Oh, yeah, okay. I guess I don't even have to click that. Sweet. You know, there are because well, like I mean, I can speak on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum's been going through the roof, man. I mean, it's heading to the moon. From the time I seen Ethereum a month ago, let me see, it was at 700. Now, if you go back to December, or excuse me, in December of last year, it was at 700. When I caught it, it was nearing 2,000. Right now, it's at 2,600. If you went back and put $700 in Cardano's, or excuse me, in Ethereum in December, right now you'd have 3 times your money. You could just write out right into your bank account 3 times your money. Sounds like gambling. I get it, but it is, man. But it is it's a fruitful way to invest. Just throwing it out there. Yes, exactly. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, exactly. But now the same applies because, like I was saying, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan will be on there. They will have cases against him, and I believe, although I cannot find them, but out in California, he was out there for 11 years before he moved back to Genesee County, Michigan. Now, at that time, he had gotten married, had a kid, got a divorce, and she left. And through that time, I could say that they're... Oh, sweet. Wait till I get my hands on that fucker. Yeah, he goes live like 10 times a day, don't he? I mean, doesn't he? Yeah. Can't wait to be live. Yeah. Well, so because I will just call it short. Everybody go watch Greeno, man. You know, have a good day. Yeah, like, you know what? I don't even want to go there, but it is true. All right, I'll do it. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, well, they is. What was she talking about, Pookie? I missed it. I missed what you was saying. I didn't catch it. Anywho, if anybody has any questions, here I am. It's Wednesday, and I'm sorry. I was last night. I was going to go live. I really was, but I didn't really have anything to say, man. And then today, everybody's like, "Hey, what about this dude? Huh? What about him? He did it. This guy done it, man. Ha 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 ha." I know more than this. I know a lot more than that, and so should you. Because if you watch my channel, you know where my stance is, and you know why. And if you know why, and you have followed what I said, and you still think it's this guy because he kidnapped a 9-year-old, and I don't know, people keep saying he looks like this guy, and I'm like, where? How? In what way? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand the connection. I don't think these two look anything alike. Period. The eyes don't look alike. Nothing does. At all. I'm just throwing it out there. Well, I could try to answer that. I know that one of the girls lived right there by the bridge for a while. I don't think it was at that time, but it was maybe right before that, and could have been at that time on that south side. But not when I say the south side, I don't mean those two houses. I mean elsewhere. Okay. But the other one, the other girl lived a distance from there, and I'm going to say probably up to a mile to 2 miles away. So I know a lot of people were speculating immediately that the suspect knew them or had seen a post online that said they was going to be there and at what time. But the suspect, and again, this is in the press conferences, law enforcement's press conferences. They said that the suspect arrived at Monon High Bridge Trail and parked at the abandoned CPS building at approximately 12 p.m. noon. Well, the girls didn't get there until I think it was 1:35 in the afternoon, but everybody's thinking like he knew him. He's seen it online. Well, law enforcement came out and said, well, now the first thing that we were checking, because the first thing that law enforcement does check is family and friends of the family, as well as because, there was the thing and the whole speculation that they could have said something online. They was checking all posts that each girls had made leading up to that day, and then checking everybody who had witnessed that online, to get see what those people check out. So, well, I don't know, man. It's because a lot of the questions that people ask, I'm like, well, you're basically calling the FBI stupid. You are. I mean, you're really saying that they're ignorant. So is the state of Indiana. So is Carroll County. Well, I don't think it works like that. And it doesn't work to somebody's theory just because they think it sounds good. That's BS. I've heard some really good theories. And I'm like, yeah, that would be really good if it happened like that. But it didn't. 57 watching. All right. All right. No, the bodies were not moved. And, Trixie, if you go back, well, wait, I say if you go back, and I really, what I need to do one day is go back and find those videos, because it was 23 minutes. Understand that the suspect arrived approximately 12 noon. That's what law enforcement said. Now, we know that the lady on the south side of the bridge that was walking her dog seen him at roughly 12:30. It's a 15-minute walk from the CPS building back down that Monon High Bridge Trail with about a 5-minute walk across. So that would have put him over there at approximately 12:20. Okay. Now, she said she seen him at approximately 12:30, right in that little area. Okay. So we know that he was over there on the south side of the bridge at 12:30-ish, right there. Now, then I'm thinking to myself, well, why would he go back to the north side of the bridge? Why would he go back over there where people would be walking and hiking and see him? He didn't want to be seen. And I thought, well, what he did was got to the south side of the bridge. She seen him. She was walking dogs. They talked for a minute. But, nothing really happened for about 2 hours later. And I'm sure he thought, well, she's not going to think I did it, and she don't know me. She don't know where I'm from. She don't know anything. So I don't really think that, well, at 2:17, okay, that's when, or is it 2:17? I always forget that, man, I really do. But let's say it's 2:07. Okay, at 2:07, when Libby took Abby's picture, when she was walking on the railroad tracks, you can clearly see back in the background that there was nobody on the hill back behind him. Okay, on this back hill back behind Abby, there was no one on the tracks back behind him. There was nobody there. Now, then they walked to the south side of the bridge. So, because he's walking from the north side toward them, we believe he came from the north side of the bridge, right? But I'm under this right here, and I say it for this reason. You got two girls, and one's got a cell phone, an active cell phone where she can dial people. Okay. Now there's a guy coming across from the north side of the bridge. Now right there, rather than just getting him on video evidence, because you have to think, well, they had some words. They had to have had some words, because if they didn't have words, then why would he be coming across from the north side for him? And why didn't they call law enforcement rather than trying to get him on video? Why didn't they call law enforcement? Because they were already under duress. He walked from the south side. As they was walking to the south side, he walked toward the north side, met up with them right there, displayed a weapon, told them to walk on, and that's when she picked up her cell phone and got his image and stuck it in her pocket, because that's all she had time to do. If she had more time, she could have called law enforcement. You see where I'm at? But she already knew that this guy meant trouble. This guy was a bad guy, and she's probably thinking, well, if this guy wants to do something, law enforcement's going to know. She probably felt that they would take it to law enforcement later, without knowing. So anyway, that's just the thing. Now, when he got him over there, it would have been, man, I have all this in my timestamp, and like I know somebody that used that. So anyway, when he got him over there, it was 23 minutes. 23 minutes at the maximum. 23 minutes to commit the whole of the crime. Then he walked back on the north side to the 501 trail, right there to the north of the bridge, and followed that back to his car. Now, do I think they were moved? No, because immediately at 3 o'clock, Libby's father was there, and they began looking for him. So I'm going to say this: if you have like 250 people searching the area, okay, law enforcement going around that little block all night, telling everybody that lives there that, hey, we got 2 missing girls over here. Now, how do you think somebody's going to go back there and take them all the way down there? How? They can't. They couldn't. There is no way. Now, I've said that from day one, but the only people that bring up that fact are people that hadn't been there. I mean, if you had ever been there, Trixie, and actually seen where the bodies were at, where they were found at, you would think, okay, there would be no way somebody could do that and bring them down there. There would be no way. Law enforcement were over that area the whole night long. Anybody that would have parked there for more than 2 minutes, they would have been asking, who are you? What are you doing here? And not only that, law enforcement called the search party off at 12 midnight. Now, that was the law enforcement search party. However, other people that were there still kept searching. So there is no way that they were taken elsewhere, killed, and then brought back. No, they were killed right there within 23 minutes, and the suspect hit the road. That's how a flannel shirt guy seen him leaving when he was walking out down in St. Louis. Well, actually, yeah, because at that time he was living in St. Louis. Now, he was arrested in Imperial, Illinois, and that's for the Catholic supply store, sexual assault and homicide. But in 2017, he was not living there. They had just recently moved to Imperial, not all that long, like within a year before his arrest. This dude seems like the guy in the neighborhood who is smoking and truly knows what's going on. Suggestion by YouTube. What? Really? Really? YouTube said that about me? Man, I thought they had a hit out on my ass. I did, man. The video I made today, they wouldn't monetize it because, well, that ain't the information we want out there. What'd I say, man? All I said was this, yay, who didn't do it? I swear, man, unless you're completely leftist and want everybody in the world to own you, they just don't want you on YouTube. Just the way it is. Well, I'll put it to you like this. The man was drinking, and I do believe that he was drinking and had an alcohol buzz prior to each one of the murders. I have covered them, and again, if I went back and found the videos in which I talked about that, I could lay a link down on each one. That way a person could just copy paste it and go back and look at it. But the guy was drunk at the traffic pullover. He had left a drinking establishment before going to the Catholic supply store. Ann Pates was murdered her car broke down at roughly 2 a.m. Now, this is in 1999 when everybody didn't have a cell phone. I'm sure it was really nice back then. So, she couldn't just call somebody for help. But her car was broke down, just east of Montrose. Well, at 2 o'clock in the morning, the bars closed, and Montrose was a one-bar town and his hometown. But he lived in Flint and had to go back to Flint. Taking Highway 58 east out of Montrose, there's a car broke down. She dies brutally. In that murder, you can look it up, they have DNA and fingerprints of the suspect. But guess what? Nobody that matches. Because the man had never I'm speaking like Kim Riley here, had never been caught committing a crime. He had no fingerprints or DNA to be matched to. None. He'd never been arrested. You see where I'm at? Now, when he was arrested down there in St. Louis, everything became available. Everybody knew. All of them. They had DNA and fingerprints. It all became known. I mean, when I called Sheriff Swanson in Genesee County, I wasn't telling him anything he didn't know. He may have thought I didn't know that, but I did. I knew the FBI breached him probably right off the bat after they got his DNA. Yeah, we got your guy up here on Mary Pryor and Dan Pates. We have his DNA and fingerprints. Get your case together. That's what all of them were told. Get your case together. Because in due time, when this guy's convicted down there, you can go talk to him and have him back to your state to, with charges filed. So anyway, yeah, I don't think that they were moved and spooked him. I bring up the alcohol for this reason. It's liquid courage. And the guy liked to have that. When he was going to go do this, he had a buzz. He always had a buzz in every single case. Mary Pryor lived right across the street from a bar, another one-bar town in Genesee County, Michigan, right across the street. She was taken out back of her house and murdered. Brutally murdered. An 83-year-old lady. And all of these is brutal. Every single one. Brutal. And every single one of them. DNA. Well, no, I can't say that with Evansdale because they were found like 6 months after the fact. I don't think that there was DNA and fingerprints available there. But in every other one, we do know that it was brutal. In every single one. And every single one, DNA and fingerprints were left behind. No one matched to. All goes back to the same guy. I've said this, and I will repeat myself. It all goes back to the same man, and it's not this guy. It isn't him. No, it's TJB. Yeah, it is. Well, it is, man. It's like a one-horse town. It's a one-bar town, you know? Me? Yeah. You say pocket rocket. I'm not sure. I don't want to display that, Katie. I'm not sure how that will be taken. Yeah, I'm with you, Radar. I am. And I mean, that was, I should stress that. It was like when we started looking into this case, because it was me and Greeno off the bat. I got a hold of him, and seriously, I thought he was down in the Carolinas. And when I reached him, he was at my house within an hour and a half because he was in Delphi. Now, that was on, I think, the 15th or the 16th. No, it was the 15th. So, him and I would sit down and we started going over it. But what we did was we analyzed everything about it. Everything, from the press conferences, from having went there, having walked it, looked the place completely over. In fact, I'm going to say like a large percentage of our time that when we're covering Delphi has been out there at Monon High Bridge Trail. Hang on, I forget. Give me a second. Oh, right. So it wasn't that I was looking for the killer. I was not looking for the killer. And I told everybody on my old channel, man, this goes back like, at the beginning of this crime. I told everybody, I said, everybody out there is trying to get this reward money. If you do not know who this man is and you are guessing, you are just, it's rubbish. It was like me. You know how I heard of TJB? Through the news. I didn't know the guy. I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about the guy until I heard that they had called Carroll County. And I thought I better go look into this guy and see what they're talking about, see if anything, And when I started, then everything started falling right into place. Everything just boom, 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 boom. I started connecting things that was not even made available because I went and checked it out. Sheriff Chris Swanson, he says, well, how did you find out about this case? I said, well, I was investigating this man. I went back to his history, an investigation, his time in the service, where he had lived, this and that and the other, and traced that right down Genesee County, hometown of Montrose. And I said, I was looking for brutal murders that were unsolved in areas where he had lived. Now, that led me to Ann Pates. But when I called in Ann Pates, hear me now, when I called that in to let them know that I had, come across some evidence that pertains that he could have been that guy, when I called up the tip line, they are like, well, I think we already got that name. Like, what? Like, yeah, hang on a minute. And I was on hold for probably about 30 seconds. And she's like, yeah, that name's already been given to us. And I'm like, really? I'm like, was that recent? And she's like, well, I can't speak on that. I can't speak to you about that. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Okay. I'm like, all right. Now, my thought on that is this. Thomas Bruce was at that bar in Montrose. He was drinking that night, as he likes to do, right? I mean, this guy don't kill every time he drinks, but when it becomes available. He's not a stalker. I'll put it like that. He don't go someplace and stalk after someone. He waits until it becomes available and nobody's around, and then, attacks in that manner. Now, he was there drinking with friends or whomever. I don't know who did it, like that. But at the same time, I'm sure the next or the following day, next time he was in there, that person or someone that they knew had said, well, you left that night at about 2. I mean, was her car there when you went by? I mean, did you see her out there? I mean, was there just a car or nobody, or something like that? Because, I mean, she came up missing at about 2:00. You see, so, and I think that what he had said, and then when they heard that he got hit with the Catholic supply store sexual assault and homicide, they're like, that guy did it. And I think that they called him in. Hey, Gargar, man, how you doing? Nice you arrived, man. So, I think in every case he was drinking prior to, and I think that there was people after he got hit with Catholic supply store that, they really kind of said like, whoa, okay, I think this guy did that, now the same thing, because with Mary Pryor, he wanted to know, how did you find out about Mary Pryor? Well, I told him, I says, man, all of these, I was investigating his background, and came across them, and they befit what it was I was looking for. And right there in his hometown, right in his home county of Montrose, Genesee County, Michigan. Well, see, now Chris Swanson says to me, well, you know what? I'm going to take your tip. That's what he said. I got that. Actually, if I never played it, I should go pull it up right now. He says, I'm going to take your tip on this man, and I'll go down and talk to him. And he says, if we get this guy, I'll be live on your show. I said, hell yeah. So there will be that in due time, but it's going to have to be after the conviction, and that could be a few years away on all of them. I mean, you got to, man, remember, that's like 6, 7 murders right there. And if you have all of them tied into one big case, that's going to take a long time to try. A long time, because you got to cover all of the evidence through all of these cases. He'll probably have a team of private detectives, working this. Hold on. Hang on a second. Let me cover this. I found an article from earlier in the casework. You know what? That may be true right there. And I'll give that to you, because off the bat, especially off the bat, they felt that. And that's why at the first year press conference that me and Greeno had went to, they were still saying that they felt that the photos would be what gets this guy. And that's why they kept saying off the bat, somebody knows who this is. Somebody knows who this is, because they thought he was from Delphi and walked. Now, here's the thing. And again, I've covered this many a time. Mitch, I'll get right back to yours here in just a second. Let me scroll it down. Because if he worked right in or around, even in the area of Carroll County has 20,000 people in it. 20,000 people. Man, woman, and little bitty babies. 20,000 people. There has been over 70,000 phone-in tips. None correct. If that man was from anywhere around Delphi and they got video of the guy and audio of the guy and 2 people that seen him, how would you not find him? Think about that. Yeah, they said he walked. In fact, I was to that side because I said if the guy is from Delphi and did not drive there, he had to walk down the railroad tracks, down to the trail, cross, and then go back in the same way to the residential section area because nobody's seen him walking on the highway, County Road 300, or in Delphi. Nobody knows who the guy is. Nobody's seen those pictures and goes, oh, hey, so-and-so was dressed like that. Everybody in Delphi, everybody in Carroll County has seen those pictures, the video, and heard the audio, but nobody knows who it is. Well, this guy had never committed a crime before. We got an approximate weight, an approximate age. They could go right through and say, okay, well, we can take out all people with blue eyes, all men who are under 18, okay, all of them with blue eyes, any who have ever been arrested, we can take them out as well. And they could take that right down to like 200 to 300 people and go investigate. 200 to 300 men? Or are you going to go through 70,000 phone-in tips? And I don't even know where they'd be at. But I know over the last pushing 3 years, it ain't been long. Okay. They hadn't need to. They knew who did it. They knew exactly who did it, man. The Catholic supply store, when they were called, they looked into it. FBI got his DNA. The FBI was investigating down there in St. Louis, talking to his friends, neighbors, and family, wanting to know about Delphi. Now, why would they investigate Delphi? Think about that. They got his DNA. Unless the DNA matched, why would they be investigating Delphi for his crime down in St. Louis? Well, there's only one reason. It's because he's the suspect and they know that. That is the only reason. So when I found the route, when I came across the route from St. Louis, and I says, oh, I mean, that was almost like a kick right in the, I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, the guy did drive. He did drive there from St. Louis. That's exactly how it happened. Now, at first, I'm thinking he was going to his family and coming back, or he was en route and stopped. But in knowing that, he lost a job 1 month prior to and filed bankruptcy, my thought was, no, it's just like Evansdale. He drove from where he lived to another area, which was a little trail, traveled, but not heavily, where you could abduct someone, take them elsewhere. Same thing. He had seen this trail and thought, okay, I could wait here. And if somebody comes through that befits my image of somebody that I'd want, I could just take them across over here, commit that crime, and leave. Same thing. Now, it may seem like, but the point is I do know that they know now. And I will go back to, and I think that was the Delphi briefing where they had said that the suspect, what they felt was the suspect's car had arrived at 12 p.m., but was not there at 5 p.m. Okay. And that is the way that they really should have said that, because they said up to 5 p.m. But I think that was obtained by the FBI through satellite, where it showed it at 12, 2, 4, 12, 2, 4, but was not there. It had been 11. 1, because they knew he was there at approximately 12 p.m., that the car was there at approximately 12 p.m. and could have been there up to, they said, 5 o'clock. Now, if they say up to 5 o'clock, now you could say, well, that could be somebody saying, well, it could have been there at 5. Because there was a lot of people that went down Country Road 300 over that time. And if there's a trail that leads from the CPS building to the entrance, just same as the main parking area where it goes across Freedom Bridge to the main entrance. If you're at the CPS building, it's got a walking trail that goes right to the main entrance. It's another parking area. Why would he park there? Because he didn't want people at the main parking area seeing where his vehicle's from. That's why. So yeah, he was parked there. And when I found that he had drove, when I found the route, that's when I went back and relooked Evansdale over. Because I knew, having drove to this one, he likely did the same there. And it became very clear that one of the same guy the same guy I'm talking about, committed both. Now, if a person thinks this guy up here, you know, did Delphi and Evansdale, no, not even. But if I went over the statistics on Evansdale and Delphi, it would be mind-blowing. In fact, one day I will maybe make a video on that. I say that every time for months and months for a year, but I never do. However, if I was, you know, that would be the way that I would do it. I would show all this stuff. It was a lot easier, man, when Greeno was here, because he's a great editor. He's a fantastic editor. He loves to edit. I don't. I do not like editing. Sometimes I do if it's for someone else, like when we're sitting down and running ideas, then it takes on a different thing then. But when I got to sit down and just do it, I'm like, oh, why? This is what I'm saying. Just listen. It becomes easy. All right. Hold on. No. I was trying to. I was trying to for a while, because I was going back to 2012 and then using like the satellite imagery, but the satellite imagery was still like and I forget when it was, because it had it set at like a newer date than that. You can't go back and then go down street view, because if you do a street view, that's going to take you to today. You know, that's going to be today's street view, not back in 2012. Now, on the 2012 one that I did look at, there was a white vehicle out front. That's the best I can give it. It was blurry. It wasn't in any detail. But, yeah, right in front of his house, there was a big white vehicle. But that was the best I could do on that. We could not find his St. Louis taxes. It's like that they just don't show them there, of all places. You know, of all places. We could find his vehicles in other areas, man, like Genesee County, California, you know, all of that. We could find a list of their vehicles, but not in 2012 out there. I mean, you know, not at any time while they lived in and around St. Louis. And kind of, it was a bummer, because it's like I told Officer Weber out in Evansdale, you know, I says, if you contact DMV and get a list of his vehicles, you will find that if that was the suspect's vehicle. They're going that it could be and probably is the suspect's vehicle. Big white clunky Suburban, older style. That's in 2012. I'm thinking like a 90s Jeep Cherokee, something in that area, somewhere right around in there. But that was the best that we could come up with on that. Good question, man. Thanks. Whoa. You know, not really. And I don't want to be disagreeable. But the thing is that the lady and flannel shirt guy did see him. And you can look at those pictures in the video all day, and you don't know anything about what that guy looks like, you know. And this right here is like, you know, both of them in the way that they had described him and so forth. But flannel shirt guy had walked by him, you know. The suspect was leaving, walking the 501 trail. Flannel shirt guy was walking the Monon High Bridge trail. They walked by each other. Now, I was out there with a friend, you know, and a guy had walked by us with these lady. They were older than us. And I gave it about 2 minutes, you know, after he had walked by. And I'm like, okay, in 2 minutes. I mean, in 2 days' time, I said, what could you tell me about their face? He's like, they were older? I'm like, anything about their face? No. So exactly. Because if somebody walks by you, and flannel shirt guy did not suspicion this guy, because he later talked to Derek, Libby's dad, and he asked if he had seen two young girls down there. He says, well, I've seen a couple of the girls down there, but they were older than the girls that you're looking for. Well, that right there said that the guy had no suspicion that that guy did anything to anybody, or else he would have said, well, I seen some guy that was walking out that looked suspicious, but he didn't say that. Now, after the fact, when they released the photo, he's like, yes, I did see that guy walking out. And the lady down there that lived on the south side, who was very hesitant about reaching law enforcement, because she knew that that man knew exactly where she lived, you know, and she went to law enforcement, was like, hey, that guy knows where I live. You know, he knows exactly where I live. So they had to keep kind of a watch on her, and she ended up moving because she, after so long, they didn't know who it was. Well, it's for the reason that nothing came back. There was no match to fingerprints or DNA. There was no way to find out who that man was. They had fingerprints and DNA. There was no match, just like Ann Pates, just like Mary Pryor. Same exact DNA and fingerprints, no match. Well, let me ask you, if somebody's going to go out and commit a brutal murder, would you believe that they had priors? I would. I would think they had a criminal record. Yeah, some kind of criminal record. You wouldn't think that some guy out there has never been convicted of anything was doing that, would you? But what if they were? Well, that's the lowdown. Fingerprints and DNA can't come back with a match because there is no match. There's nothing to be matched to. This guy has never given DNA and fingerprints, so it can't go back to him. There you are. Well, man, damn. Okay. Everybody has commented or asked a question. Well, yes, sort of. I mean, they will get him on DNA and fingerprints, eyewitness, people that saw him. But the thing is if you're asking like right now, no, not right now. He's in another case. And I talked to Trooper Kim Riley again, and I got that one. I think I deleted it because I was kind of mocking him, and I didn't intend to, but the whole thing was that he kept playing that I can't hear you, I can't hear anything you're saying. I don't know who, what, huh? So I kind of made a video on that was meant to be funny, but I think I ended up taking that down. But the thing is like everything could be in place. In Michigan, Ann Pates, Mary Pryor, Delphi, all of it. Okay. In other states, California, everything's in its place, but they can't go down and talk to him. Just like Daniel Nations, they went out to Colorado. He was on there on 4 minor felonies, and he was out of them 4 minor felonies within a year and brought back to here. Within 8 months, he had went through court on 4 felonies and was brought back to Indiana and then released on probation. But when Indiana investigators went out to Colorado to talk to Daniel Nations, they were turned around at the door by his public defender, who said, no, I'm representing him, and you are from a different state on a different crime. You cannot talk to him until this case is complete. When that case is complete, then you can go talk to him all you like. But while I'm representing, no. Now, that guy's down there for Catholic supply store, sexual assault, and homicide. He's got a private detective, a private defender, a public defender. So that guy isn't going to let anybody go talk to him concerning murders when he's representing him on a Catholic supply store, sexual assault, first-degree murder, and sexual assault. So anyway, that ain't going to happen until now. He goes to court on that on August the 2nd. Is when his jury trial starts. It shouldn't be that long for down there. I mean, he left 2 of the women alive, and they seen everything. I mean, how long is it going to take for a jury to go, yeah, he did it? Whatever you want, whatever you're giving him, he did it. So I assume by September, middle of September, I'll be done and over with. You'd probably picture about into October until they went and talked to him and they got the charges filed. Should be around October. Somewhere around October of 2021, that's when everything will come to light on it. See, and again, I got to scroll down here. No, they knew who Bridge Guy is in Delphi. They do. They've known for a long time. I've been very clear about that. They've known longer than I've known. They have known that long. At least 2-3 weeks before I actually got to the point where I said, yes, it's him. They knew. They knew when they got the call from St. Louis that they had their man. Ah, thank you if you're talking to me. If you're talking to me. All right. Oh, crap, man. Jeez Louise. It was a long time back, man. It was a very long time. Oh, man, I got to get all the way down here, all the way to the bottom. All right. Hang on. If I missed your question, please throw it back up, and I apologize right off the bat. I don't really know. I'll tell you, I mean, it depends on how it's kept. If it's like out of the rain, out of the weather, if it's kind of secured against the elements, it can last longer. But I mean, if it's suspect DNA, and it depends upon how it was there. Was it touch DNA? Was it I forget the wording I'm looking for, kind of DNA, you know, because in different elements like that, it can last longer. But it's like in Evansdale, that's kind of out of the question. I mean, because that was like 6 months after the fact, and you know, it probably not. But now in Delphi, yeah, because that was like 24 hours, less than 24 hours, and they got very cold overnight. So, I mean, I'm sure that they got DNA, but you know, I assumed that there would be DNA there, like right off the bat, right off the bat. Yeah, it is, and that is the way that they use that now, and they can kind of hot track that within 10 days. But if not, you're usually looking at about a month to 8 weeks, depending. All right. If you're talking to me, and let me scroll up here. Yeah, well, they didn't turn away, Radar. It's not that they turned away, you know, they well, maybe that's the way you meant it. They were turned away. But now me and Greeno had brought that up because we were in verbal communication. We were talking to Daniel Nations on the phone through that whole time, the whole time. And when I asked him what they had asked him, he says, I didn't even get to speak with him. He said, my public defender turned them away without even consulting me because I wanted to talk to them and get my name cleared, get my DNA. That way, you know, I wasn't, you know, because out in Colorado, man, they had to keep him isolated because everybody thought he was a child killer. You see where I'm at? So, yeah, they did turn him. They did turn Indiana State Police away. Absolutely. And that was for minor felonies. So what I'm getting at is Thomas Jerome Bruce, public defender, he would have turned him away immediately if they tried. And I'll guarantee you, Kim Riley in that video, he told me, you know, he says, well, he goes, if you're looking for a reason why it might take a long while, that would be it right there, because they can't go talk to him right now. Now, he didn't say it exactly like that. I says, well, it would probably be a while because, I mean, it was not that long after Daniel Nations had been brought back and questioned, and they're like, yeah, we're not worried about him anymore. So, you know, it was kind of the point that, you know, if you're in there for something, especially felony, this and that, you got to wait till it's done. Then you can go ask your questions of them. But until then, probably no. No, there was no rain in Delphi that night. In fact, I think it was clear and it got very cold. It was a very mild day, but that night got very cold. When I say very cold, I'm saying down into the 20s. Yeah, you know what? Thank you. But however, I mean, I do got kind of some words on that. One is, given a different date of death than the other. And that isn't speculation. That came from the what I'm losing my words here. From the coroner, because Abby did live into the 14th, and that was in the morning. Now, on this, I heard. And anytime somebody says, I heard, or this or that, take it for what it's worth. You know, because when you hear something, it does not mean it's true. You know, but I did hear that she had died of hypothermia through the night. But then I had to wonder if that's true and she died of hypothermia. Well, why couldn't she respond to a search party? I mean, the search party wasn't right there. And I'm not saying that they were on top of her. I think that they got to that ravine right at the cemetery and they said, yeah, look, man, 2 girls ain't going to walk back there. I mean, like, there is nothing there. There's like some horses back there, but that's it. They're not going to go tracking down through here and then go down this giant ravine to the other side because there's no reason. You know, they went to there to hike. You know, they wasn't like supposed to really be going off in private property. So I think that that's why they picked that up on the far side of the ravine on, well, I'll call him RL. If everybody knows who I'm talking about, I'll type it down here in chat. On his property. Okay. The next day they picked it up there. Now they had to ask him the night before if it was okay if they search, and he said yes. In fact, he told him, well, yeah, I wasn't even here at that time. And he was not lying. However, I mean, if you was to go there and see that, you know. So since because they did state that she had died that next morning, that came from the coroner, that she had died. If you look at the graves, it says right there that she died on the 14th. People say, well, the family can do that. No, the family can't do that. They cannot put down when she died. The coroner can, but the family can't change that. So I do believe that she had died on the morning. But again, because she could not respond verbally to the search party, that tells me that something was like a head wound. You know, that had comatose her, and then she died later. Because how else? You know, if you're awake, if you see where I'm at, if you're awake and you can tell people are searching, you know, you would be able to respond to them. I mean, just it's a point of fact. You would be able to say, move, do something. So it kind of tells me that there is likely. I would need to see that. Do you have that? I mean, if you do, send it to me on email. You know, that would have been mine as well. It would have been my thoughts. I mean, I'll put it to you like this: the suspect certainly believed that both of them were dead when he left. So I mean, I think that it was like that, you know, where he certainly felt that both were dead when he took off. Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. The night, because it was mild that day, but that night got down to the 20s, and Sheriff Tobe Lesenby had said, you know, that overnight, if they were lost, that the biggest enemy they would have would be the weather, because it was going to get cold. Yeah, and that's the good question, isn't it? You know, that's the question. You know, but how can they have double dates? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know that I saw that. Oh, I don't know Watts. Oh, sorry, man. Now I'm just too much over. But I'm still keeping my eye. I mean, like, if you guys got any questions, throw them up. But yeah, it got down to the 20s. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with this. I will go with it. You know what? The family changed it, and there you go. And until somebody knows totally better, keep the question away from me. I mean, it gets old answering it. It does, man. I would love to answer it, but how? How can I answer it? I wasn't there. I didn't find him. I'm not the coroner. I didn't do the dates. I don't know how that plays. But I can say this, man. It certainly looked to me as if one did at least had a pulse, to the next day and died of hypothermia, because what else could have killed them? You see, if they wasn't dead from the attack and one did live till the next morning, it would have had to have been hypothermia, because that is what the sheriff said. The biggest enemy overnight will be the weather. And it don't really matter to the case. And I mean, I do point that out, that look, there's things that people are curious about that really don't add into the case. It doesn't matter to me. I say it doesn't matter at all to somebody that's looking how long that they had lived after the fact. That doesn't have anything to do with who did it. Well, and again, it is a curious note, but what does it do? I mean, if I knew the answer, if I point blank knew the answer and it says, well, one did, or no, both of them died at the attack, would it do anything at all in solving the case? No. It's just mere curiosity. Well, I mean, and it would be great if we all knew, but the point is, we don't know. We don't know. Now, when I say I heard, that goes with the understanding, yeah, I heard this. But it's got to go with, yeah, I heard that. So it doesn't mean that it's right. But I know that the family can't go, well, we're just going to change that date. Well, the family can't really do that. And honestly, I don't know that the family would go in and say, no, she died on the 14th. Well, it's common knowledge that it happened on the 13th, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, that could have been a misunderstanding on the obit. We don't know, but we will in due time. Hold on. My understanding is there are 3 different times of death. The physiological time of death, when the victim's vital functions actually ceased. When your vital functions cease, that's pretty much my understanding of death. I mean, I don't know if there's 3 other ones. I mean, it might be, well, you could bring them back within so long, or, something like that. Well, but again, well, I think that it does, but we kind of know that, that has been my thing for a long time. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I mean, it is, but if a person was to go by what they heard, and I mean, I can kind of stay out of that. I can. I don't really go listen to what anybody else has to say. And if a person knew me, if they knew me, like, we were friends, they would know. I do not. And people reach me all the time on Facebook. Well, you got to go see this video. I'm like, I will not go watch that video. I don't give one crap about that video. I don't care what they say. I don't care. That is their speculation. I mean, I will put it honestly to you, of all channels, every, I don't care what it is that every single one of them, I have only pointed at the facts as they have been given. period. I have kept speculation out. If I say this happened for these reasons, it's for those reasons that I give that. It is not because somebody told me. It is not because I heard. It is not because in theory it sounds good. If it does not fit into the equation, it's gone. It's out there. And I will say right now, I mean, like, you know, you come back and watch this, man. After this case is solved, I covered this in no uncertain terms, right down to the last letter by the degree, exactly how it went. Exactly how it went. Because I am not poking around for theory. I don't care about curiosity. I don't care about this, this, and this. Unless it fits what it is I'm looking for, it's overlooked. I don't care. I don't even want to hear it. Yeah. You know, I went out there to the walk, I guess. You know, me and Donnie, we went out there, and Greeno was there. Actually, it was quite a few people there, but it was just pretty quick and fast. I mean, you know, I mean, as it goes, they just said what they needed to say, and then they went on out to the, I guess this, well, no, they went to, was it Dairy Queen? Yeah, it was Dairy Queen. You know, everybody went out to Dairy Queen, so we went out there and just got some video and took off. Shelly B. Man, boy, have you missed this video? No, I don't. This guy over here did not do it at all. You have my word on it, Shelly B. Listen carefully. He had nothing to do with Delphi. And everybody is kind of saying, well, I think he did. They don't know this case, because if they did know this case, they know this guy right here is probably going to get handed to him in prison. But he didn't have anything to do with Delphi, period. Nothing. Okay, Sandra, that's fine. You know, whatever you believe, that works for me. But I'll tell you right now, I know that they have DNA. I know they have fingerprints. I already know they do. They've stated. Look, when the investigator came to my house to question me about Delphi, you know why? It's because somebody didn't like a video we made, and, you know, on Facebook, they said, well, I'm going to turn you guys in for it. Go ahead. Well, the guy did, man. An investigator came to my house. And my stepmom says it was about my aunt. And I'm like, man, I only got one aunt in Howard County. I'm like, you know, she's like in her 80s and in a wheelchair. I'm positive she ain't out breaking the law. Well, when the guy came to my house, and once I realized who he was, I'm like, I'm very sorry. I thought you were someone else, sir. I really did. And I said, well, what do you want to know about my aunt? He's like, your aunt? I said, yeah. My stepmom said it was about my aunt. He goes, no, it's ain't about your aunt. It's about Delphi. I'm like, oh, jeez. Like, sir, look at me. Look at me. Do I really? Look at my eyes. Yeah, look at him. I said, you know as well as I do that I am not bridge guy. He's like, I see your point. I do. He goes, but we cannot clear you without a DNA sample. I looked at him just like this. Like, you guys got DNA, don't you? So I got to go make a video, pal, and let everybody know you guys got DNA. And I did, but I told him, I said, they ain't getting my DNA. Well, they might want your DNA. I said, well, if they get a judge that's going to sign on to get my DNA, tell them I'll own there. Tell them that for me, would you? So I've known since then, and that was in July of 2017, that they had DNA. And as soon as I came out with that, and Greeno came out with that, then they came out with, yeah, we do have suspect DNA. Yeah, we do. But before that, they were very silent on it. In fact, there was a lot of things that really came out because me and Greeno had put them out there, you know, and, you know, we had right there, this is why. This is why. This is why. And they really had no other thing except to come out and say, well, yeah, we do have DNA that we feel suspect. So Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they told Greeno the identical same thing. You know, I said, well, yeah, we can't clear you without a DNA sample. So, I mean, like once we found out that, yeah, they are, man, they are, you know what? And again, this goes back, I heard, because people were saying, man, like right after that, and this before they questioned us. And I don't think that there's much of a man that lives in Carroll County that was never pointed at some time or another. Because everybody, I don't understand that. I don't, but everybody was out there just pointing fingers at everybody. Oh, a weird guy lives down the road. I think he did it. Believe me, man, there are people. Tobe Lesenby was turned in by Greeno. But he was turned in, and he said that in an interview. He's like, "Yeah, even I was turned in." I mean, they talked to me. Yeah, that was Greeno that turned him in, and Greeno's like, "Look at the video. Tell me I don't look like him." You know, so everybody was turned in. You know, seriously. But you know, once you know that they have DNA, and you can point to that and say, "Well, they said could not be cleared without DNA," that says that they have suspect DNA. Then they come out, "Yes, we do have suspect DNA." So, yeah, exactly, Anna, and I do too. I can point to 4, including possible 5 in Tennessee, other murders. You know that fit exactly right into it. So, I got a call this morning from a friend, from a good friend that I met through this case. Now, she got a hold of me, and I had, and I think it was this morning. Yeah, it may have been. No, it wasn't. It was yesterday when I first heard of this guy's name. I ain't out there looking for this guy. I already know who did it, but there are other people are. And then they reach me. Well, a guy says to me, he goes, "Well, I think he did it. I think he did." So, you know, it's what. So, I don't care what you think, actually. I mean, you know, there's people that say this guy did it. Oh, that guy did it. No, the guy that's in jail did it. Well, this other dude down here killed himself did it. Everybody's got this thing about who they think did it because it fits the scenario that they watched other people on YouTube say. And I'm telling you, and like I've told people a million times right here, go fact check what I say. Go fact check it. If you know how to fact check, go fact check what I say. You know, if you don't, you're missing it. I mean, if you're taking other people's word for it, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not investigating, and you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Nothing. All you know is what people say. If I hear something somebody say, and there are 2 things that I can say, I heard. Now, one is on the hypothermia. I heard that. Nobody came out and said that. I heard that. Okay. But it came from a source where I could say it's probable. I don't know, but it could be. Now, the other one, and let me think about what in the world that was. Oh, on the person that found him searching. You know, we all seen the Facebook screenshots. Well, is that real? It could be, but it may not be. You know, I mean, let me tell you, me and Greeno did that. And we did that to another person, and I think we came out and told them that we did. But we set that up because, well, some of you know who I'm talking about anyway. You know, they had that thing of like the interview with Bridge Guy. You know, when people are on there like, you know, you should feel ashamed of what you did. And they're talking to the guy like it's him. Man, you guys can't be that mad in the head. You can't be. So we went on there, man, and faked being the serial killer, you know, and set this up with a picture that looked like him, you know, and all this and that, and kind of played that for a couple of days. But, you know, the thing is if the guy wasn't a friend, we wouldn't, you know, or well, Greeno may have, but, or, you know, actually, if it was somebody that was like online just blowing crap, and then there used to be so many of them. There used to be so many trolls just deep everywhere. Yes, right. No, that's what I was talking about. That's why the Howard County. See, it was Carroll County right off the bat and surrounding counties that were investigating, because Carroll County in the state of Indiana, they didn't have the investigators to go through all those phone calls. So you had Howard County, Tippecanoe County, Cass County, Howard County, and I'm missing another one. It may be White County. But it was like all surrounding counties around Carroll were investigating. Well, a Howard County investigator came to my house, but they had called my dad's house the day prior. Oddly, man, I had called out there, and she goes, yeah, a Howard County investigator. I'm like, what? Let's talk to me about my aunt. Oh, that's what they said. I'm like, that's strange. But anyway, I mean, he's the one that said, we can't clear you without a DNA sample. I'm like, well, you're not getting one. Period. You're not getting one, but it's good to know you got DNA. Making a video now. Peace. So, I forget who donated the money. But you know what? When it comes to like that, Evansdale, when I called that in, it was I think 25 or 30,000. Right? And you know what? I could be wrong on this. If anybody knows better than this, please let me know, because really on this, I mean, I'm just thinking back. But then it went up. Well, I called it in 2 years ago. Now, I know that they can't come out and say, yes, that guy did this. I know that. But at the same time, I'm not talking about the FBI reward. That's like 250,000 in both cases, and that should be nobody's money. Nobody. No one should get that. Period. I mean, unless they called that guy in and knew everything, but I didn't. I mean, like, I called in because I heard it through the news. Now, that does not relate to that reward money. You have to know who did it and call that in and have the evidence that will get them tried and convicted. Well, that ain't me. But I'll tell you, in both cases, that $250,000 should go to the family, each family in both states, Iowa and Delphi, because you can't give it to St. Louis police. They're law enforcement. They're doing what they're supposed to do and get paid to do. You don't hand them $250,000. If you hand law enforcement $250,000 reward, well, are they doing their job? Or are you guys corrupt and just trying to pay your own? That's where I'd be with it. And I don't play that game. In fact, I'll go back to Carroll County's there are 2 unsolved murders in Carroll County. The Delphi murders and Ambergreen. He was hit for abducting and murdering Llewellyn Mabbitt. He never got tried. Never got tried on it. Okay? Now, when he ran, him and his brother, oh man, I just went and did a video of that. I think I put it up. Man, maybe I didn't either. Anyway, when Ambergreen took off, him and his brother, they went down to Texas. This is in the 1880s, okay, early 1880s. They went all the way down to Texas. Cass County Sheriff, because that's where he lived in Young America, Cass County. But Llewellyn Mabbitt lived in Carroll County, and it was a Carroll County case. Well, he went because he was tracking their mail, okay? And their mom lived in Young America, little town just north of me. Just north of me. I could walk there in no time. Just north, right? Now, he was living there. Now, he traced their mail to a family member from his mom. Then that family member sent it to a differing family member who then sent it on to them down in Texas. So once they figured out how the messages were getting back and forth from Amber to his mother, he went down there to the city where they were posting from. Rode on horseback from Logansport, Indiana, all the way down to western Texas. Found them, arrested them, and brought them back on horseback. Think about that. Now, when he got back, that was for a $3,000 reward. That was huge money back in 1881. It was silver and gold back then. Now, when he got them back there and turned them into Carroll County, they said, well, guess what? We can't pay you. You're law enforcement. You was doing your job. You ain't getting this $3,000. He was very bitter over that. But I see the point. I see the point. He is not a private person. He is law enforcement. He went down there to get him. He was doing his job. Now, he was bitter over that, but I have that understanding. You can't give that to law enforcement for turning them in. And that really negates both cases. A person better not get that money. If I hear about a person getting that money that did not turn that real guy in and knew who he was, yeah, I'll call that out in a New York minute. I'll say, no, BS. Family should have got that money, every dime of it. $250,000. I mean, I could throw the county in as well, but the real fact is, who suffered? They can't be paid. It wouldn't matter if you handed them $1 trillion. Their kids never coming home again. Their children will never come home. You cannot pay somebody for that. But law enforcement, you just don't pay them a reward. And I didn't do anything for that reward. Now, the citizen reward, you know, like that, it went from, I think, 25 up to 50,000. I'm like, man, I already phoned that in. Now, the citizen reward, I would accept. I mean, I would accept that. If it was, you know, I'm sure I'm the first person that called him in St. Louis. Would they give me that? Probably not, no. You know, they wouldn't give me anything like that. They like it where they can give it to somebody where it looks good. You know, where it really looks good. They don't like me, and I don't like law enforcement. So I see it their exact same way. Oh, yeah. Phones. You know, I mean, I talk to everybody on here like they're at a computer when I don't think really much of anybody is, and they're all like, you know, on a phone. Because I can say, actually, everything's down in the description, but I don't think you can see the description on a phone. If you can, please notify me that you can, but I don't think that you can. Okay, so is there anything questionary of any kind? Well, if it is, you know, because I think that they had one that was held. I would love to, but I'd have to go find it. And if you have a picture of Ambergreen with his hat on hanging there like this, they'll demonetize your video. You can't show that. You can't show where somebody got hung. Sorry. Oh, we can show murdered people in the street. That's fine. No, that's hunky-dory for the media to do. Yeah, why not? You? No, we don't care if it's in the 1880s. Oh, my God. They were lynched. Yeah, he was a white guy. And they don't give a flying crap. You know, it's all just media BS, man. I just like the media more so even, man, than I do cops. And the media is a bunch of scumbags. You know what, man? People get upset for me for asking for donations to my channel, so that my work isn't just me just doing it. I actually have some payment. Now, here's the thing. The media get paid, right? When they're up here talking to, you know, the press conferences, they're getting paid for that. Everything that they talk about, each crime that they talk about, they get paid good money for that. Law enforcement gets paid. Oh, you think they do it out of the goodness of their heart, don't you? Right? I mean, they're law enforcement, right? Just, you know, that's what you want to do, solve crimes, right? No, they get paid big, huge money. The FBI gets paid big, huge money. I say, hey, man, if you got a couple bucks, you could tell me, you know, just send it to this little link down here so it goes to my PayPal. You criminal! Yeah. I have a real hard time with people. Don't hang out with people. Me and Puppy prefer to be alone. We enjoy our time alone where we go out in the woods. Speaking of the woods, I want everybody in central Indiana to know that it is morel season, and it just happened 2 days ago, and I went out and found a huge bag of mushrooms, man. We had a big mushroom fry, and everybody was happy. I'm going to make a video on that because she made the best beer batter ever on those, man. They were fantastic. They really were. Thank you, watcher. Appreciate it. And I would post that, but I think that the first one was called The Lynching of Ambergreen. I think. Now, that's the one that Michael Griffey did the research on. And he had to go through and pull out every news article off of every newspaper that was out in 1881. That goes from like Logansport, Carroll County, Indianapolis, the governor. I mean, they had National Guard troops at Logansport Jail guarding Ambergreen because people wanted to kill him over the abduction and murder of one woman that he was not even, they felt that he did it because he ran. And he ran because, and the way the book explains it, she got an abortion. It was 1880s. If you was like pregnant and you wasn't married, that looked real bad. So they went to get an abortion and she bled to death. And he said that he buried her. Now, that's what his brother had stated. Okay, well, way after the fact. So the second one, Michael Griffey wrote, and I think it was called Ambergreen, A Story of Forbidden Love. And that was a good one too. I read both of them. I got both of them. So, oh yeah, anyway. Man, this is a long time ago. So my friend calls me this morning and she's telling me, hang on, let me take that down. She says, yeah, she's like, I heard about this guy. But she goes, I know a guy that had told me that the person who committed the murders had never committed a crime or never got caught committing a crime before. And I trust him. Like, he sounds like a pretty smart guy. Sounds like he might know what he's talking about just a little bit. But yeah, it's not this guy. And if anybody's telling you that it is this guy, they probably just don't know the case. They probably don't. And they're going like, well, he looks just like the sketch. He don't. You don't look anything like the sketch. If you look at the eyes, you look at the facial pattern, you don't look anything like him. He could not be confused with these two. If I stood and I talked to this guy for a couple of minutes, I'd be able to give you a pretty decent description of his face, just like the lady that was walking her dogs did with this one. Okay. But if I was to sit down and give a detailed thing of his face until I felt it looked right, and I made it look like this, well, this looks like TJB, not JBC, period. And as for a reason of, TJB committed the crime and Evansdale. This guy is just a POS that got kidnapped and tried to kill a 9-year-old, and he will probably die in prison shortly, is the way I would see it. And that's my hope. Cardano. Hey, you know what? I own some Cardanos. The altcoin, they went up pretty well in recent. Well, the tattoos. I hadn't discussed the tattoos, or I have not talked about them in depth, but the guy does have like tattoos down his arm. Now, understand that in Delphi, he was wearing a jacket when people saw him. I mean, they wouldn't be able to see his arms. I didn't see on his hands if he had tattoos down to here, but you would think that the woman would recognize tattoos, especially if they were up around the neck. Now, I don't know when this guy up here got those tattoos. You know, as he's 42, he may have got him a long time ago. He could have got him within the last 4 years. I don't know. But if he did have them and he was the suspect, it would have been noted. But again, they don't look alike. This guy committed the kidnapping of a 9-year-old, but this guy over here was there 23 minutes with the girls after he abducted them. That was the crime part. The crime itself was 22. I got it 20 to 23 minutes because it was not longer than 23 minutes. The actual crime there. This guy is a sadistic serial killer, and he's quick. He's very fast. A person that abducts and then takes the person elsewhere for a long period of time differs from somebody that's quick, where they abduct them, go commit the crime, and leave in a quick hurry. They're different. You know, I keep pointing at this guy, and I don't need to, aside of that he did kidnap and had like that girl at his house. But there's the difference between the two. You know, there are serial killers that you can look up that had abducted people and had them at their house, like in a basement for like 3-4 months. You see where I'm at? Because they like to continuously go back and commit this crime over and over again. Well, the Delphi killer and the guy that I'm talking about in Michigan, they're all the same. Evansdale, all the same. They are the same type. They do this very quick, you know, and they just get in, they commit that crime and leave. That's their, I want to be careful on how I phrase that, but that's their motive. It's part of what that they want to do. They just want to get this done and get out. They don't want to abduct and then keep them over a long period of time. He was arrested in hang on, I'll get right to that, Sandra. Give me a quick second. He had committed kidnapping of a 9-year-old girl and had her at his house. And when law enforcement got there, they said he was like in the act of trying to kill her and strangle her. I don't know if that's because law enforcement was at the house and he was trying to shut her up. Maybe. I don't know. I can't really talk on that. But I do know that it was something to the effect of trying to kill her by strangulation. So, I mean, I assume that that's what it is. But then everybody says, ooh, he looks like the sketch. He don't look anything like the sketch. I mean, I got this blurred. Understand that. I mean, I had it in my video that way because, you can't do side-by-sides. And I understand why. It's not that this is a good guy. I mean, he'll die in prison. This is my hope. Probably won't be there long, and I hope that they really torture his ass before he dies. But that's me. Hey, okay, if you're signing off, man, it was great that you was here. Catch you next time. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know that everybody's. You know what? If you are not a moderator on my channel, please reach me. I'll make you one, because that one week, I think everybody at my channel became a moderator. Everybody that was there live, man. I'm just going through, you're a moderator, man. You're a moderator too. Guess what? Now you can moderate. Everybody's got that wrench. So if you want a wrench, if you want to be that person, let me know. I'll probably hit you with it next time I go live. Oh, and you taking off too. See, everybody's leaving. There's 73 people here, man. Everybody boogies off, man. So like 8 o'clock at night, everybody's like, peace. See ya. Yeah, exactly. It was, man. So everybody, man, I'm playing Oprah. You just made moderator, man. Look under your seats. Everybody gets a new Cadillac. On me. Oh, man. I don't know how many of you guys watched that video that Greeno did with Stu Sutcliffe and Tobe Lesenby. If you have not seen that, go look it up, man. It was hilarious. And I forget who he said he was going to place me against. And I'm like, oh, no. You ain't placing me against them like that. There's only one person that I want to be in that ring with. And that's Kevin Hammond. I do not like that man. I do not like him at all. I have not liked him since I met him. Do not like him. And I told him to his face he was a fat sack of liar. Period. While I was in jail going through charges. Because that is what he is, man. I see him at the dollar store every now and again. Don't say hi to him. Don't say anything to him. I don't like the guy. I don't want to talk to him. No. Wrong, Christy. Hold on. No, that's wrong. Law enforcement did not name this guy a suspect. They said that investigators were looking into him. Period. That does not say suspect. They did not say he is a suspect. Now, he may be a person of interest. Now, somebody had asked me earlier, maybe it was you. Oh, crap, man. Now I lost that again. Because a person, yeah, that's what it was. They said, hang on. Keeps leaving me. Well, I would hope, but give me a second, because I'm trying to think of what I was talking about. Because he's a person of interest. Oh, that's what they asked. Well, why would they say that he's a person of interest and they were looking into him? Well, I've explained this. They have known since November 19th of 2018 who did it. Or they were pretty sure they knew, given the evidence that was given to him by St. Louis, that he had did it. Now, that's why the FBI went down to St. Louis immediately, next day, to get his DNA. That was on the news in St. Louis. That was in news articles from St. Louis. All of it taken offline now. All of it's gone. Everything about the FBI. If you go put into Google, FBI obtains DNA from Thomas Jerome Bruce, only one thing's going to pop up now, and that's that case down there by, I forget what their name is, Innocence Project or whatever, where they're trying to say that TJB committed the crime down in Tennessee at the base against Susan Collins. Well, Barry Scheck says that TJB was at that base at the time. Well, if he was at that base at the time, I'll tell you this right now, he did that murder. Nobody else did. Only he's that brutal. He's that guy. Fact. Now, I can say he probably did that, but I am saying probably because I do not know. I can't look into that. I can't look at that with any depth because there's nothing about the crime on there, where you can go into that. There's nothing that's pointing at him. Now I'm saying this, and I will say this. If he had a car, because the people seen the car leaving, that was two Marines that was jogging. They seen the car pull away, and they said, "We know what the car looks like and what it sounds like." Well, this guy had a car that looked like that sounded similar, and they said, "No, that guy did it. He did it. It's him." And the guy did admit to it and then try to pull out of that because he didn't know. And you can look over his testimony as to what he was saying. Like, well, my car, and I got out and she fell on a screwdriver and it punctured her stomach. He had no idea what had happened to her, and they're saying, well, how did this happen? Well, I don't know. It had to happen when she fell down, and the guy's like saying that he was made to confess. He said, but I didn't do it. Well, his daughter's trying to get that DNA. And so is Barry Scheck. He says, I believe that TJB did it. And I'm to decide that if he was at that base, he did do it. Because this guy had no motive to go do that to somebody he didn't know. Pull up at a park and just brutally murder him and do it like that. For what reason? He never did that. It was crazy. But this is why. Because they've known who did it. Now, in knowing who did it, here's the thing. You can't say, well, we know who did it, and it's this guy. Well, why ain't you filing charges? Well, we can, because he could demand a speedy trial. But that's who did it. We're pretty sure of that. See, they're never going to tell you that. They're going to wait till they can go talk to him, bring him back, and convict. And when they can, then they're going to say, we just filed charges against TJB, period. That's the way it's going to be. Now, if people are waiting for law enforcement to step forward and say who did it in these last 3 years, they won't. And I told you that back then. It's going to wait until he goes to the trial, gets convicted, then they can go talk to him. Now, that will be around September of this year when they can go talk to him. Should have charges filed by October, minimally October. But it'll be within this year. Charges will be filed against TJB. Which is what this guy right here was, the sketch was made from, was his face. I can go pull that up again, but yeah, it's his face all day long. It's his face. No, he don't. The only thing that a person can really look at, and you can look at the sketch right there. The only thing that stands out that looks like him is the nose, because this guy does have kind of a fat little nose there, but I don't know. I don't even know that his nose was made to be like that wide, because really, if I was, you guys can't see my mouse, but if I was giving this guy's face, I would give him a more wider nose up here, more wide. Whereas on this nose here, see, it just goes down and it's more fat to the front. Bruce, how you doing, Bruce? Oh, well, you know what? You arrived at the right channel, Bruce. Hang on. There you go. Bam. Highlight that. I try, and I just say try because that is exactly what I do. I try to stick it to the facts. If it is not by the facts, it's probably just speculation and somebody's theory. If they don't know the case, don't listen to them because they know as much as you, you know. But if you want to fact check the case, anything like that, you know, you can go back through my videos. Now, a lot of them are live. Some of them are 2 or 3 hours, and I'm just sitting here basically BSing, you know, and I don't like doing that. I don't like just sitting here talking when I'm not talking about the case, because there's 78 people here right now, and they didn't come to hear me talk about mushroom hunting and my puppy. You know, they're not here about that. They want to know about what I think about this dude up here. Well, that's kind of what I've tried to cover today. But I've also touched upon some important facts upon the case and other cases, and I really have went over them so many times in the past that it really, oh, from Tennessee, right on, right on. Hey, Connie Collins. I don't even think Susan Collins was from there, but her last name was Collins. And she was in Tennessee when she died. Well, no, all morels are good, man. Let me tell you. Okay, well, all right, real quick. Man, just hang on. 76 people. I'll make it really quick. When I was little, my grandparents that I was raised by, man, they would take me to Michigan every year when I got out of school, man. May 20th, we'd go up to Michigan for 2 weeks. Upper Peninsula, 38 miles south of Canada, man. We was way up there, you know, just south of Sault Ste. Marie. We're in the big woods, man. We lived on a gravel road that was in the middle of nothing but woods. You could walk 20 miles from our house and not see anybody. You know, it was middle of nowhere. We'd go up there, man. We'd take a deep freeze with us, plug it in, and we'd go out and mushroom hunt every day. Well, we had what used to be up here, man. It used to be Tate's Orchard. Now it's McClure's Orchard up by Peru. And it was just south of us, man. Well, we'd pick up apples there every year. My grandparents would, you know, bring home like the yellow and red delicious apples. Well, we had sacks of those, and we'd take them up there to collect morels with. One year we went up there. Within 10 days, 3 of us, just going out and hunting, that was it each day, filled an entire deep freeze. An entire deep freeze within 10 days. And I think about that now. If I went up there, man, on May 20th and me and another dude filled an entire deep freeze, my God, you know what we could come back to Howard County and sell those for? I could retire. Man, they go like $40 to $60 a wet pound. That's crazy, man. That's insane. But see, when I was little, we had mushrooms all year long. I mean, we'd go up there because they were ours. It wasn't for sale, man. That was our mushrooms. You know, we sliced them, soaked them, man, and froze them, man. We'd pull them right out, man, batter and fry them. Had them all year long whenever we wanted. The good days. You know, the good days. Yeah, it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful day here, man. I mean, a little rainy, but the weather was nice. Oh, and for anybody that wants to know, I know that I have not brought this up this year, but my geese came back again this year. They flew in and had babies right down in what used to be the chicken barn, same place where she thought she was born, you know, and she goes right back there and has her eggs, and they hatched today, and she walked them right down to the wildcat, and me and Puppy went down there and seen her with her babies and the gander just hanging out. And I'm like, all right, you know, it's because any of the babies that's with her, they will be back. They will return with them next year when she has her babies. They'll be right here. That's kind of cool, except they won't be domestic. I mean, well, they're not domestic. They're wild, but they was raised domestic with a domestic goose as their mom. But thing is I mean, that they knew, and so did the mom, that they need to hit that wildcat. And they was here. God, I think I had them 4 years. And then finally the male, I mean, they walked on down to wildcat and took off. And I did not see him again until last year. The female and the male Canada goose flew in. She had her babies there. I was like, all right. Well, they came back, and she had them and walked them down to the wildcat. But those babies will be wild. And when she returns next year, they will not be happy about people being around. They will not understand what she's doing going in the chicken house to have babies. They will not be in understanding. Well, if anybody has questions, bring them up. and I will get to them in the immediate. It is 8 o'clock. Oh yeah, I don't have yeah, I'm lucky I don't have allergies. I'm not even allergic to poison ivy, thankfully. Found that out when I was little. And my cousin, man, she's like really allergic to it, like really badly. Anybody? Question? I'm in the mood to answer. I am. I mean, you got my time. Here I am. Yeah. That dude. That's a good question, Pookie. Well, because she lived on the south side of the bridge. Now, everybody knows the one house, and the person's name. I'll spell the last name Weber. Everybody knows that they live on the south side, but they don't own right there on the south side of the bridge. That belongs to the other side. Now, she lived there, okay? And she was walking her dogs, and her dogs was walking, how do I put it? Like, say, here's the bridge, okay? And this is the north side, and you got the trail that leads to it that used to be railroad track. It's a railroad bridge, really long, and tall, 70 feet off the water. So when you get to that south side, there's those two houses. Now, the trail where the train tracks used to be still goes through there. They took the tracks out, but that trail continues all the way over to County Road 200. But that ain't a part of the trail. The trail's on the north. And like Flannel Shirt Guy told us, when we in Greeno first went out there, it stops at the bridge. Now, at the time of the murders, CSX Railroad still owned the bridge. And they probably owned the trail leading out to County Road 200. Now, she was walking her dogs, came across him, and I'm sure they talked for a minute. She said they talked for a minute or two. Hey, what are you doing out? Yeah, beautiful day. Absolutely. Fantastic. This kind of thing. Well, if you're standing there talking to somebody, you're looking at their face. If I'm talking to you, you and I, we're looking at each other's face. You're going to remember that. But if you walk by somebody, you're not going to remember their face unless you was taking it in for some reason. But there wasn't a reason to. He wasn't suspicioned at all by Flannel Shirt Guy. But the lady walking her dogs had walked her dogs out and then back to her house right there where he could see where she was going in. And she says, that man knows where I live. And he knows I'm the one that's like turned it in, because when he sees his face there, he's going, no, I did it. So she was very scared when she talked to law enforcement, and law enforcement stated and he actually slipped when he said that, because it was Kim Riley, and he said she had stated, well, what I mean is a person that had, and he tried to like cover over him saying she, but we knew that there was a she that was walking dogs, and then we came across her because she came up, she knew who we were, and told us, yeah, I'm that lady, and when we were like, well, did it look like Daniel Nations any? I can't say anything. I can't even talk on it. And that was her only words. So it was like, yeah, I'm the lady, but I can't say anything. No, I don't. If she did die, I mean, it's first I've heard of it. I mean, I didn't hear about her passed away, but it's not to say that she could not have. I know that she was afraid, and law enforcement had even said that, because the guy did know where she lived. And she ended up moving for that reason, because the man wasn't caught. It wasn't Daniel Nations. And I mean, she knew what the guy looked like. So now if she did die, it would kind of suck quite a bit, because we would be down one person that had seen him. And she's the one that got the most out of his face for the sketch. She's really the one that gave the most on that. Bruce, this isn't Bridge Guy. It ain't. I can tell you. But I would advise, if this is like first time being here, go back and watch the whole of this, this video, because I do kind of cover some of my reasonings on that. You don't trust yourself. Wait, Where? Where's Rodzilla? I haven't even seen Rodzilla. Oh, there you are. Rodzilla, man. Hey, right on. Man, I got to pay attention to people who's in chat. If you're talking about morels, morels have a very certain look to them. I mean, if you look up a morel mushroom, it's easy to see that you're looking at a morel. You know, there isn't really a poisonous mushroom. Now, there's the mock morel, which they classify as poisonous, but you could eat it. I mean, I believe. Don't go try that. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that you can, because I have seen recipes, I think, with that. It's not, I forget exactly what it's called. It's not a mock morel, but it's like a morel wannabe. But they do classify it to be that way, but I had never heard that it was. I don't know. I don't think I'd ever ate one, but if you look at them up, man, I got video, and I'll make that video of us hunting and the amount that we got and cooking them. They have a very distinct look. If you see something that looks like that, it's a morel. There's gray morels, blonde morels, black morels. Then they got the ones they call them peckerheads. I don't know what they're really called, but they got like a real long stem, and then the vents are real wide at the top. But all of them taste morel. You know what? I'll get it out there for you, watcher. But yeah, if you cut them in half, soak them in salt water, and then batter fry them, they're fantastic. Man, they go like 40 to 60 bucks for a wet pound. Jeez, that's some serious money. Oh, I love biscuits and gravy. I do, man. That's one of my favorite meals. I love biscuits and gravy. Oh yeah, no. Yeah. I got it on video. I got us hunting them, got us finding them, got them laid out on the table, got them where they're being cut and deep fried batter. We got the beer batter, and that was probably the best batter I had, where they were in, and then deep fried them. They were fantastic, man. Fantastic. I love morel mushrooms. They remind me of my youth. They really do. We had them all the time, and anymore you get like one meal of them a year, in Indiana. So, but anyway, if you guys want to watch it, because I will have that out. Also, I got a video I'm making for the Meat Locker right here in Burlington. They have Taco Tuesday, man. Romero makes some like great tacos, man. Quesadillas. Also doing that. We also cooked up a raccoon. Ate it, man. Made stew of it. You could really tell no difference when that was done that it was a raccoon. I mean, you wouldn't have really known that it wasn't beef stew. It had a beef stew smell and taste. It was fine, and I just basically did that. It was an experiment. I mean, I knew you could eat raccoon. I mean, they're edible, but I just wanted to see, because right here where I live at is raccoon heaven. Believe me, man, we got a run and the wildcat and 170 acres of property with water running through them. We have coons everywhere here, man. It's crazy. In fact, one year they got so thick, I told people, I said, man, you got to be careful. People would leave their windows down in the summer, man, and like raccoons would get in and just destroy their car, man. It was kind of funny, man. I said, one day they're going to be carjacking people, man. They're just going to take your car from them and go for a ride. But yeah, this is the area, man. We got a lot of raccoons here, and I love baby raccoons and raccoons in general. They're just very awesome animals. Very smart, notorious, man. Just, whatever they're doing, they're getting into something, man. Yeah. You know what? That is not really that. Yeah. And we kind of did it similar. Now, we would normally do like the egg and then into flour. But cracker crumbs, same way, sauteed in butter, that would be outstanding. There's a lot of ways to do that. And I mean, I like the beer batter. It was really good. It was crisp, and sometimes if you do egg wash with flour, it can be a little thick and hard in areas. These were done really good. They came out fantastic. And, it is one of those things that nothing tastes like a morel, man. They just such a distinct flavor. And it's just like one meal, you're hooked, man. They're like that. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, now I didn't have uh, a pet raccoon when I was little, or possum for that matter. I mean, where I grew up at was up at Niona Lake in Fulton County. I mean, we have like a lot of raccoons up there, but we didn't live in it. Well, we did. I mean, there'd be raccoons, but I mean, not like here. Look, man, right here, I live in the middle of the woods, man. If you go to the middle of nowhere in Indiana and cut a left a mile back, that's where I live at, like way out of nowhere. But I did one time when I was young. I took a baby skunk home. It was a little bitty thing, man. Just cute as all get out. I mean, I mean, it would fit like in my hand. It was fully furred. And a friend of mine went to his house, and a friend of his had seen it because the mom was sitting. The baby coons were right around it, so he got them and threw them all in a box. And then ended up taking them to my friend's house, and he's asked me if I wanted one. I'm like, dude, I'll take one. Hell yeah. So I took one in and I showed it to my grandma, and I'm like, hey, man, I just waited. No, get out of here. Are you insane? You know, I got that. And it's like, kind of understand, but at the same time, I mean, you know, one thing I've always wanted was a pet skunk, man. I hear they're just all that, man. I hear they're really cool. So, but yeah, I never had one as a pet. Now I had a pet raccoon here at Thuggy, and that's been a few years ago. And she was killed when they was deer hunting. We didn't know it was yours. We're sorry, man. When somebody tells you 3 times in a month, "Don't shoot my coon," you don't shoot a coon. It's not that hard, man. If it's a coon, don't shoot it. It's probably mine, or it wouldn't be standing like 10 feet in front of you. Tell me I'm wrong. People, man, no. Oh man, yeah. You see, that's kind of where I am. I mean, I never had a pet skunk, but I don't know. Believe me, if I had one, I think that oh, Figador would just love that, man. I really do. It gives him somebody to play, you know, to go hang out with here and there. He drives me a little nutty. It's like I take him out and he's just like runs nonstop. And then when I get home, he wants to play. I'm like, come on, man, you know, let me sit down for a minute, dude. He don't want that. He wants to play. He's full power doggy. But, you know, it's his first year and he'll slow down. See, now he goes in and takes a nap. He used to not do that. First 6 months I had him, he would not nap. He got up in the morning. That was it until he went to bed at night, and he didn't even like that. Yeah, he is. I say hyper, and he is. I mean, he is. You can tell he's got Jack Russell in him. You know, I mean, you know, you can call him hyper because he just does want to go. He does not want to stop. He don't want to take a break. Well, everybody, it is 17 after. If there's any more questions, throw it up. I will answer some last ones, and I'll cut out here at about 20 after. If you're talking about this guy here, it is kidnapping and trying to kill the girl by strangulation. He didn't, but that's what they're hitting him with, is abducting a minor and trying to kill her. And again, I don't know the reasoning on that, but the girl was at his house. She had been there for a while. I think law enforcement got a tip that the guy may have been involved and went to his house. Now I heard that when law enforcement got there and was asking, he's like, yeah, I know the girl. I know who it is. And they says, well, can we come in and look? And he's like, yeah. Well, I say that because law enforcement had talked to a friend and that lives in Lafayette and had told her kind of like, yeah, the guy told us that we could search. And then that's when we had found her. Now, I think that it could be It could be that if he was trying to kill her, understand, and the cops were there. Well, if he was trying to kill her, to kill her is one thing. But to try to strangle somebody because law enforcement's there is almost like shutting them up before law enforcement knows. Now, I don't know that that's what happened. I ain't even saying that that's what happened, but it sticks out that that could be what had happened. You see, I don't know. I really don't. I am not up on this case at all. I went and looked at the charges on my case and got the rest from a paper article. But it was just in knowing that the guy had prior felonies, when Kim Riley had told me, well, it's like the guy had never been caught. We can find no traces of him. Well, if you got DNA and fingerprints and you can find no traces of somebody, they had never committed a felony. I'll tell you that right now. Well, hey, you know what? Thanks for being here, Pat. And I appreciate you being here. I do. I appreciate everybody being here. No problem. All right, everybody. It's 8:20, man. Thanks for being here. I sincerely appreciate the fact that everybody showed up, and I got my mods, and I mean, you guys are fantastic. I wanted to make this video so that I could be clear, so I could be very clear. It's not this man. If you think it is, that's fine. I mean, that's great and groovy, but I happen to know better. I happen to know a little bit better. So everybody have a, let me see, when will I be back? I might be back quicker than what I think, because I do have a couple of videos I got to make on the raccoon and the mushrooms, and I still got to get the timestamp video made one day. Sarah, you know what? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And thanks for being here, everybody, man. Peace.